Actually, the entity framework by default create the visual representation of these three tables along with the primary key one-to-one relationship. Actually, apart from the country table, the state name table as well as the city name table has the following properties: navigation properties as country ID as navigation property, here the state ID for navigation property. So this is the kind of visual representation that it depends on how many tables you are going to work. If you add more tables, then all the relationship will be represented. Okay, then now create the model entity framework from database complete. Then we are going to move about I forgot one thing. After creating the entity model, we have to build the entire project, or otherwise it will not show recognizable. Okay. Now we are going to deal with the cascading. The next one, model, view model. Actually, first one is database model. Here is view model. View model is nothing but a class file. I provide a name cascading model. Whatever may be the name of the class file, you can provide. I will explain what is the view model here. View model is nothing but container to fetch the data from the database and the mesh. The container has act as the view. Okay, view derived from this container. The data from the database will be stored into this container class. Okay, from this view we represent to the viewer. Okay, and now assume that this is the container. Right click the model and add class. Okay, then in the class provide a class name. By default it class 1. Okay, now you can provide any table, name. Cascading model, I provided the cascading model .cs. Okay, now add. By default it will invoke a class file structure along with the necessary imported pattern files, and public class namespace also available. Under that the class public class cascading is there. Just in the description box I provide the class file structure. You just copy and paste this. I will going to explain this class what is what. Okay, system every pattern file. After the from the class file, the first part here is I just copy and paste. First part here is constructor. Okay, what is the constructor? You have to know. It is the instantiate of the class. Okay, all other things here are properties. Now the select list item has some error. Why? Because we didn't include any respective getter file properties. Using MVC, right click on the select list item error. It will provide the options using system.mvc. If we click the system.mvc, it will automatically included within the project. Then all the error will be vanished. Because select list item is kind of list item that under the system.web.mvc library file. Okay, now first is constructor, and then the list item, the countries get set, and the list item states get set, and the list item cities. These are the optional class structure that we created the plural form of our table from our table. Okay, public integer country ID, here note on state ID, city ID, all the three things are properties of this class, but this name should be same as in the database. Very important thing. The country ID, whatever the capital letter or small letter combination or whatever may be, the name should be same as in your database. Okay, in this class file. So we need to populate 3 comma bars depending with 3 integer primary keys. So that's why we provide the properties and store the data in the list item from each table. So the constructor we create this countries equal to new list select list item, just a new object. We create the countries as new object below the list item. So the constructor will call the properties. Okay, now add models. How to add model? Once again I explain. But just create the copy and paste the model and then again build the solution. Now we are going to build the solution. After build, if it has error, we have to rectify. I think there is no error. It is going to building on. Now build succeed 0 failed, so there is no error in this code. Okay, now next step, we have to create the controller. So creating model, what is the differentiate from view model and the database other model, you know very well, I think, I hope. Now we are going to create the controller. Just right click the controller folder and add new controller. Whatever may be, from this second option we have to select what kind of controller you need. There are so many kinds of controller, each and every has its own functionalities. We have no time to explain everything, so by first empty controller we have to choose and add it. Rename it the default. The controller suffix should be there. Before the default you remove, whatever the name you have to given here. Cascading DLL controller is my controller, so I provide the name Cascading DLL. The controller must be there. Don't remove the controller word. Okay, now R Cascading DLL your controller. It will appear under controller folder. It will invoke. Now I just copy and paste my controllers here to explain very quick. Here nothing, the index function. It has the index function. DemoDB entities has a new object we first line created. Entities, DemoDB entities one is our entity. When we created, already we created database from database, that object. And next one, the cascading model, we created model class, name it as model, new cascading model. And then for loop we have to fetch the country in entities.countries, and all the things we have to fetch, whatever the things we fetch into the model, view model.countries.r new select system, text and value. Drop down list has two properties as text and value. Just we apply to it. Okay, next HTTP post. There is a different from HTTP post and get. Here I am not going to explain that. In later other video we will explain. Here post means we have to manipulate some data to the server. Okay, whatever the operation, we can pass the parameters using the HTTP post action. It has three parameters: integer, country ID, state ID, city ID. Using these parameters we have to manipulate the data. Once again we are creating cascading model object and database object entities with a name, same name. In the for loop, we are in country in entities.countries. From that we derived the data and store it model in our view model countries. So you have to differentiate view model, okay, text and value. Likewise, if country ID has the value, then we have to move to write down on our own query. This is a linky query, link to entity framework query.